We're broadcasting. Thank you everybody for tuning in and for watching this later. There will be a replay. I'm Claire O'Donnell. I'm a Director Licensee of Rise Property Co. based here in Palm Beach on the Gold Coast. And with everything going on, I just wanted to put together a series of webinars, and I thought what the best one to start with would be, and mortgages are on everyone's mind at the moment. So I'll give Doug Cook a call, the fine gentleman you can see on your screen there. He's been lovely enough to give up his time and join me for this. I really appreciate that, Doug. So Doug is the founder and managing director of 3Carrots Mortgage Brokers. He's based in Coolangatta here on the Gold Coast, and he's been in the industry for 25 years. So I'm in real estate. I'm no finance expert. I've got the man on here who is, but I just wanted to make note to start with that any information that we do provide, anything that we discuss, please take it as general information and advice only. And we do strongly recommend that you do your own independent research that's, suitable and relevant to your own situation. So there's a little disclaimer. Just make sure, you're doing your own research. So how are you, Doug?
I'm good, thanks, Claire. How are you?
Good. Keeping well.
That was a lovely little intro there. You're a natural at this.
Oh, there you go.
But thanks for the opportunity here this morning. I'm looking forward to answering your questions.
Yeah, so we've had a few, and we're obviously both in the similar industries and dealing with the same clientele. So I'd like to know, what are the types of conversations that you're having with your clients at the moment? What are you being asked, or what should they be asking you as a broker or their bank?
Probably the main thing is, Claire, that's a really good question, is have you got a pre-approval in place? It's the finance process is harder than what it's ever been in the 25 years that I've known it. Okay, it's cumbersome. You need the experience, and it's really stressful, especially for people with their first property, for example. It's the biggest financial decision that they've ever had to make.
Sure.
So the banks are making it harder than ever before. But getting back to that pre-approval, you really need to have that pre-approval in place as an agent like yourself. There's nothing better than hearing, I've got a pre-approval in place. Here's my piece of paper, because you know that you're ready to go, and you've got a pre-qualified buyer.
Yeah.
Pre-qualified buyer. That's what we all want. Okay.
People's confidence as well as an agent. They don't know who's coming through their property at this time. They don't want to be wasting their time.
Yep.
And they want only those genuine people that are in a position to, if they like the property, if they want to purchase it today, that they can.
Yep, that is so spot on. Yes, and with the pre-approvals too, it doesn't cost anything. Some financiers, brokers may charge a little fee up front, but we never have. But the pre-approval does not cost you a cent, apart from your valuable time, of course, Claire.
Yeah. No, brilliant. Along with everything that is going on at the moment with COVID, and banks are talking about these mortgage pauses. Some are extending time on loans, some are increasing payments. Can you explain that simply?
Oh yes, it is. It's sort of simple.
What is it?
Yeah, look, there's probably three answers to that. One, if you can get away with doing it at all, is a great result. That's probably your best result on it. If you can somehow look at your budget and cut things back and try to tighten it up and just see it through. That's what I try to recommend. Secondly, you can defer your repayments for, say, 3 months or 6 months.
Okay.
And how the banks treat that is one of two ways. At the end of that deferment period, those repayments need to be made up, not in one bulk sum, but the whole loan is recalculated. Okay, so your repayments will increase slightly to accommodate those 6 months that you deferred. And some banks, some banks will re-extend your loan term back out by 6 months, and your payments are business as usual. Okay, so
depends on who then.
Yeah, it's really good result. And you know what? As much as everybody, there's a lot of people out there that bash the banks. The banks have been, and I'm not the biggest fan of all the banks. I work with them to get a result, but they've been really good. They've really put their hand up and made this a really easy process for people. But more importantly, before you go ahead and just press a button on the screen to go to your bank, speak to your banker or your broker to discuss these options for sure.
Yeah, and what are the other options? Are there any options?
Well, those are the options, but to get that that sounding board, to get that voice of experience to say, do you really need to do this? This is your option. This will be your new repayments, and obviously to review your loan, because we could review it, and there could be an option to refinance or restructure your loan to reduce your repayments so that you don't have to do any of these pauses.
Interest rates are still quite low. They're very low.
It is crazy. Look, your fixed stuff, there's 209s out there for fixed, for owner occupied, and your variables are floating around at 2.70. Yeah. I reckon there'll be a 1.99 within the 4 weeks somewhere. Somebody's got to come out. We're only 10 points away from it.
Yeah.
But a 1.99, that's free money.
Yeah, wow. That's unbelievable. And are the banks tightening their lending? So obviously, the interest rates are down there. What's their
we had a quick chat with this off air before. Yeah, it's a really, really good question. I mean, yes and no. I know that's fence sitting, but like the employment side of things, Claire. I mean, and responsible lending. So if you come to us for a home loan, and you're in the hospitality industry on the Gold Coast, to be fair, that's been all pulled back, and it needs to be. It's really scrutinised. Okay, so that side of things. But with regards to business as usual, with essential workers and just other transactions, if you tick all the other boxes, no, they haven't really tightened it up. They've slowed up. Yeah. They've slowed up because their staff have been all shifted to help with these pause repayment type stuff. So their back end's got really, really slow. Sure. Hence why we need pre-approvals.
Yeah, pushing the time out on the pre-approval process.
Yes, exactly right. So it's it's tightened in some areas, but stayed the same in others, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And speak to your professional, speak to you about your own individual circumstances and what's going to suit you guys. What's been asked as well is if you have been pre-approved and you haven't yet purchased, or if you have purchased but it hasn't settled.
Oh, great question.
What's that looking like? Will it still go through? What happens there?
Oh, it's simply scary at the moment. So it's anything after 1st of April, if it's sort of in their pipeline with the banks after 1st of April, those pre-approvals are a bit more heavily scrutinised, meaning they'll come back and do, if say you're a week out from settlement, they may review the file and say, we want some bank statements, prove us that you're still employed. JobKeeper can be accepted. Those government incomes that the government are kindly, that can be accepted with the right financiers and with the right strong professional submission to the financier. It's definitely accepted. But anything that's pre-1 April, that's sort of letting sleeping dogs lie there a bit, Claire. So, but yeah, the pre-approvals, if it's been sitting there a while, it'd probably be a good question to ask your financier, your banker, your broker, to say, can we just make sure that we are still good to go with it? So, but anyone that's prudent should be doing that anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's good. Another thing I've been hearing about with times like this is offset accounts. What are they? You hear it thrown around all the time, but can you explain pretty simply for those of us that aren't in the know, and are they good? Are they bad? What's the go with it?
They are a great facility. But there's just no negative thing about an offset account. Most banks, depending on the product, will offer an offset account attached to your variable home loan. You can even have it to some fixed rate products. But long story short, any money that's sitting in the, I'll give you an example, sorry. So your home loan's 500,000. You've got 100,000 sitting in the offset. You're paying interest on your home loan for 400,000, which is the difference between the home loan and the offset.
Right.
It's just a little ripper. So some people, just even their pay account, the money sitting in your pay account, which is an offset account, that is working for you. So every single cent is working for you. And it adds up. It takes years off your home loan if you use it properly. Years and years.
If you don't have one, they can just ring the broker.
Yeah, depending on the product. But yeah, it's probably even a question that you need to ask the bank or the broker to say, you know, can I have an offset? You know, it's just there's zero catch to it. It's just, it's
I just
crazy if you don't.
Thrown around a little bit, and I went, I wonder if people actually know the ins and outs. And I've known people and friends of mine have asked me, going, what is this offset? Like, how does it actually work? So I thought, well, I'll ask you while I've got you. So.
It can save you a fortune if used properly. So another way of that, like if instead of paying your rates or those big bills that you get annually, just have your weekly, fortnightly, monthly amount shifted across to the offset.
Yeah.
So it's working for you instead of having that, you know, that payment, that regular payment thing across to the council.
Yeah.
But put it across there and put it on the offset and have it offsetting against a home loan. And then when the bill falls due, for 364 days, it's working for you. And the other day you give it over to the council.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking my Red Joe's just about due. So.
Red Joe's, all those bills.
Yeah. Nice one. Well, I'm definitely looking into that because I haven't got one. So
I'll show you. I'll show you how to do it, Claire. I'll look after you.
The other thing I wanted to ask you as well, COVID clauses. Are you seeing many of those on the contracts that you're coming through?
Oh, we're seeing a few, Claire. Yeah, it's obviously it's new. It's you know, so look, it's from what we see, it's more of a protection for the buyer in case one of the buyers or somebody on that contract so happens to get the COVID-19, and obviously they need to go into ISO, from what I understand, for 14 days or what have you. So it's got a clause in there which can extend the contract or protects them from not meeting the timeline clauses within the contract. So we haven't had to, obviously, we haven't had that much of that down here, but we haven't experienced that yet. But it's quite clever. It's quite prudent and responsible and all that. So, but you know, like what we are seeing, Claire, is a hell of a lot of extensions with finance clauses and settlements. The old 14 days for finance, 30 days for settlement, even with a pre-approval, can be tough. You know, it can really, especially for self-employed applicants, because it's a bit chunkier. Yeah. But so you've got to get that pre-approval in place, be organised, talking to the right people.
Yeah.
You know, don't sign a contract before you go on a 4-week. Oh, you're not going on a 4-week holiday at the moment. Trust me, that happens. It happens.
Yeah.
But you just need to be organised and you know, on your game.
Yeah. Nice one. I think we've just about got through everything, all the questions I had. Is there anything else that's off the top of your head that people should be knowing about or should be asking you?
Oh, that was good, Claire. I enjoyed all that, but it's I think most importantly is you know, with finance, it's daunting, and it doesn't need to be. You know, if you have something, you just need to speak with the right people. Ask your friends and family. You know, who do you use? There's a lot of banks out there to choose from. I mean, we've got 33 financiers on our panel. Yeah. We actively use them all. You know, we've got to give that choice. You know, it's a good time to borrow. The rates are good. Lending's that little bit better than what it has been from a few years ago. There's some bargains out there. And getting back to that, what do we think about the market at the moment? I'm not seeing any decline in values at the moment or desperate sales at the moment. It's early days, but you know, I think the right properties are still out there to be bought,
and the right buyers and the right properties that are on the market at the moment, they're getting the buyers through. So
So, but there's still plenty of, you know, we've got a neighbour across the road, Claire, and we counted 23. We saw it's for sale, and we saw 23 groups go through there a couple of Saturdays ago. 23 groups. That's insane.
Yeah.
There's good neighbours though across the road. Yes. No, that's about it, Claire. Yeah.
Interesting to see what happens when they open homes and bits and pieces and when they're all back. So
true.
Space, same as everybody else. So
Yeah, they just let them through one at a time, I think, now. I
Yeah,
think
yes,
that's,
you can go, private inspections. As of this Saturday, according to the Queensland Government Health website, and I did double check this morning because there was some ambiguity about that just over the weekend. They say open homes are back and you can have a maximum of 6 people, including the agent, go through coming forward this weekend. And then some people were saying, no, that wasn't quite right. But going off the, as I said, the Queensland Health Government website, that statement is still there. The wording hasn't changed. So that's what it looks like we're able to do, which is great. So, no. All right, Doug, well, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Catch up soon.
Yes. All right. See you soon.
Thanks.
Okay.